What's up, everybody? It's about that time for another edition of the Crew Radio Show. I'm Kevin Swan, co-host of the show, and the crew are professional people who are also friends that come together to talk about the things you want us to talk about. We talk about it all, and we don't hold back. So come on and join us for another edition of the Crew Radio Show.
Educated without them knowing. But if you're reading, you know how tariffs work. You know that it's probably a bad idea to take a $400 million gift from another country, even when the Constitution says that that is absolutely unconstitutional. So these things, you're not easily able to be gaslit in the moment of like, that's not a gift. That's not a gift, because you already know. No, that's a gift. You see what I mean?
I do.
Like just reading, but I get the question. But literally and truly, if it doesn't have a source, if you can't point back to the original author, please do not forward it. Please do not post it.
Yeah.
That's something small we can start with.
Yeah, I saw somewhere, I don't know if y'all saw, Harvard is now offering a free class on government. To anybody that wants to take it, because the last time most people took government is in high school, right 12th grade. For me, you had to pass a government class. How long ago was that? That's 30 plus years ago. Right. So most people aren't even familiar with government, and I think anything that happens to the nation, y'all know, our people is more exacerbated.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of ignorance there that we got to correct.
And also, too, and last thing I'll say, what reading can help you with is, and I think this is the most important part for me, is when we dream or when we see what the future can be, please know that it does not have to be what it has always been. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, if you think we've always known struggle, and you think that poverty, experiencing homelessness, famine, all of that is just a part of life, please understand that a lot of the experiences that we have are policy decisions. Mm-hmm. Like homelessness is a policy decision. We are making a choice as a society to have people who are unhoused. We are making a choice for people to work 40 hours a week and not be able to pay their bills. We are making a choice in DC right now, as they are talking about how many people will have major impact on their food access, their housing, and their health care, in order for about 80 millionaires and billionaires to get tax breaks. That is a policy choice. So we don't have to always accept what comes to us as inevitable. Yeah. And you have to read, I think, in order to know that your current was not inevitable. Yeah. All right, people. So that's the command. That's the goal. That's the wish for Sia. Yes. We got to read more reputable sources. Yes. Reading on social media don't count. It does not. Don't count. That's just you scrolling. That don't count. All right, Al, we're coming to you. You came on the show as originally the relationship expert, right? Mm-hmm. But we were the pastor study, and when you came on, you used to come on, and then I think it was like the fourth Tuesday of every month, right? And then everybody started calling in. That's when we were doing live shows, right? People calling in like, okay, is Alvy coming today? Alvy? Her name is Alvian. Can we get the last show? Can we get on there? Alvian. Say it together. Not Alvin. Not Alvin.
2 syllables. It's 3.
Alvian, right? What would you like to see for our people going forward in the relationship space? And I know that's a lot to unpack, but Lord have mercy. What's one thing?
Okay, so let's start first, because people always say that we forget the singles, because 3 of us have been married for a very long time at this point. Gotten married. 2 of us got married very, very early. Mm-hmm. Anton was a little bit later on, but we've all been married for a significant period of time. So Marcia is the only person who is representing the singles, air quote.
Them not married.
But and that's what I mean, as in non-married, not as in free for all, okay? As in non-married on a technicality. And then, of course, Jason is also married too. So I want to be fair, right? So I'm going to start first from a dating perspective. What would I want most for those of us who are looking for a partner? And my answer to that, and I've said this before, but let me say it again, because hopefully it will stick, is that never go shopping while you're hungry, because you are guaranteed to put crap in your cart. Okay?
Lord have mercy.
And what I mean by that from a dating perspective is that if we don't learn how to be happy alone, if we can't fall in love with ourselves first, we will pick someone who is guaranteed to make us regret the decision that we made. It is in the Bible, because we love the word, to the hungry heart, every bitter thing is sweet. If you cannot get full for yourself and you're waiting for someone else to fill you, do understand there is a real enemy, and he is not interested in you finding a godly partner. He's not interested in you coming to your purpose. His whole point is to make sure that you never see it. And one of the most significant ways I am watching people not reach their purpose, the purpose for which God created them, is by virtue of who they choose romantically. The most important decision you're going to make in your life is the partner that you choose. They are either anchor or air. They're going to drag you to the bottom, or they're going to set you free to reach the top. But there is no neutrality in relationships. There's just time before you see the impact of the decision you made for who you picked. So from a single perspective, I want our people to embrace the therapeutic experience in ways that, just along with church, go to therapy, y'all. Work through the stuff that you saw, that you heard, the things that became normal that were actually trauma, so that you don't repeat it. And then choose friends that you don't have to do the trauma Olympics with.
Right.
Okay? Yes. So that we're not either all running together through the multi-man race of trauma to see which one of us gets to the worst level of trauma first, only for the rest of us to pretend that this is normal in some way. Nor should you be surrounding yourself with the kind of people who want to ignore that you are in trauma.
Right.
So there's that you it's the strong man thing, the gold medal goes to the person who can experience and survive the most trauma, right? We don't need that in our worlds, all right?
We got enough of that.
So from a single perspective, I really want us to get healthy and whole. So out of a full belly, we choose our partners because we create something different as a byproduct of that. From a married perspective, I would really like us to be kinder to our partners. We take for granted the gift of someone wanting to do forever with you. And as a byproduct, we give the best versions of ourselves to the people out there who will not remember your name. And we give the worst version of ourselves to the people who have sacrificed everything to be with us. I want us to be kinder to the people who have said yes to us, because it is a choice.
It is.
And let us not pretend that almost all of us have options. My dad used to always say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And that is to say that even someone that you think is worth nothing, there are at least two people on this planet that want that person. So do understand that everybody has options. You are not their only option. It is a gift that someone chooses to be with you, to walk with you, to go through difficult things with you, to love you, not just because of the good things you do, but in spite of the ways that you forget to do good things. That we be kinder to each other. And then from a parenting perspective, I need us to go back to parenting. We're so busy chasing everything, catching nothing, that we are forgetting the thing that we are most responsible for. And to be children of God, the closest we will ever get to the experience of God is the gift of being able to lead another. And we cannot take that responsibility lightly, because we will answer for it. The Bible said, if you cause one of these who believed in me to not, it is better that you have a millstone tied around your neck and you be cast to the bottom of the ocean. That God takes the child so seriously that we have a responsibility for who we are in front of them and in their absence. So I ask that we go back to parenting, no matter how we do it, y'all. And I'll tell you firsthand, there are going to be days that you want a refund. No! Guaranteed.
Facts.
Where is the receipt? because this is not what I purchased,
Yeah,
okay?
I mean,
there are going to be those days, and you are going to have to remember that God decided that you were the person who needed to be that little human or big human's parent, because there's something he put on the inside of you that they needed, and it's our job to find it, to nurture it, to cultivate it so it can show up for the job we're supposed to do in the privilege of being able to serve his child that is in our care. We got to go back to parenting, but that still takes us back to doing the work for ourselves, because we are a well. And if we don't clean ours, our children are drinking dirty water,
Lord have
because
mercy.
we will not move. Anything that is still, any water that is still, becomes swamp. We have to be beat against the rocks. We have to move. We have to grow so that our children are drinking of our clean supply, rather than the toxicity of our unwillingness to evolve.
Well said, Al. And I think, we've had these conversations a lot, right? And I think for us, we go back historically when black people didn't have nothing.
Right.
But the only thing that we had was community.
Yes. And we took good care of it back then.
Right? Reconstruction, slavery, Jim Crow, we ain't had nothing.
Yep.
And now we had access to more things than we've ever had.
Yep.
And we got our families tore up.
100%.
It's flipped. And you could argue we're worse off now, because we don't have the family unit that we used to have, the neighbor down the street, the community, the village.
Yep.
That's missing in our society, and it's hard to watch. Right.
And to be clear, that is, you are not saying that in the
We
same
need to
vein
go
as
back.
that white
Right.
lady said that we should go back to slavery.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
I just want to clarify, because the context, you
No,
bring
I'm
the whole
talking about
context.
us.
No, period. I just want to make sure that the hearer didn't hear.
That are going
Yes.
on right now
How-
are trying to take us back.
Right.
Yeah, but-
The systems and the structures that actually came in to disintegrate those families, not that we were better off under said circumstances.
And I know you go to systems and structures. We go to what we do.
No, I was just clarifying
Right.
for the hearer.
What we do.
I was just clarifying for the hearer.
Right?
Understood.
And yes, you're right. But it's like we survived all of that because we had family dynamics.
Right.
Yep. Only
That
to
part.
give it away voluntarily.
Correct.
Because that's really, because you're so right. That was put upon us, and we survived it in the onslaught. We chose each other. Then when that comes up off of us, and I say that in air quotes because we're still in the fight
Absolutely.
in various ways, then we choose to give it away.
Yes. The only way we survived it, we had no choice but to stay together.
Yep. But
And
now,
some have argued that integration started that, right?
It's true.
And then from
Some
there,
say.
we started feeling like we didn't need to depend on each other like we used to.
we became individualistic.
Yeah, and it's
And hungry for the wrong thing.
yes,
100%.
So that they somebody said it. The biggest trick was America getting us to look toward the next paycheck up without realizing we're actually closer to the person one paycheck down from us, right? And just like this rat race to have as opposed to this journey to be, and how there's some folks that will sell each other out for literally $1.
Give her a sandwich.
Literally
facts.
For the sandwich.
And now you see the dysfunction playing out in social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Everywhere.
And
it's-
we
it's-
see it
live.
in his space because when we stop caring about each other, we stop valuing life, and then we end up with the criminality that, and we've talked about it a million
Yes.
times, that what we do to each other is even worse than what's being done to us as a community.
Yes. And we got to get back to that. And so, Todd, I'm coming to you, man. Your space.
I get the scraps.
Your world. You get no scraps?
I get the scraps.
No!
Well, you don't. I want you to talk, man. I'm getting the scraps. 'Cause I'm going to go behind you.
I got some scraps.
I'm going to talk about the church.
I got scraps, but yeah.
What do you want for the people?
What do you want, man, in the space that you see every day, man, in the legal space?
I'm going to go beyond the legal space. I'm going to talk about our people because, unfortunately, what we see in the legal space is the result of what happens in
when
private
the
spaces.
others, when
Right.
everything else fails.
And so, and Al and I, for years,
Yes.
did an initiative where we talked about if you don't heal what's going on in the home, it's going to spill out into the streets.
Yep.
And so, unfortunately, I deal with what spills out into the streets.
Courageous conversations with the
Commonwealth. Exactly. Yep. So, what I'm going to say, and Al, you already said it, but it's not surprising that you said it because we have had these conversations before.
For years.
I want our people to understand their value. Mm-hmm. Because I believe that is the number one reason why we see so much dysfunctionalism in our community. I had the opportunity to go to a meet and greet. Someone said, I want to throw you a fundraiser. Because, it's the election year. And they said, I want to throw you a fundraiser. And it was another group. It was outside of the African-American race. And it was nothing but businessmen and many millionaires. And they were driving the best, living their best life, wives, children, the whole nine. I didn't have to do anything but just show up. And I'm just watching them for about 2 hours. And I'm watching how they interact with each other. I'm watching how the kids are interacting with each other, particularly how the children are respectful to the parents and how they already at young ages know what they want to do. And when they were introducing me to like some of their sons, all of them said, oh, I'm in UVA. And I said, what's your major? Finance. I'm here. What's your major? Business. And then they pointed to one guy and they said, oh, he's different. Ask him his major. I said, what's your major? He said, law. And I looked at one of them who is, if I told you what he did, you all would know exactly who he was. I said, I see what you're doing. I said, you're building generational wealth, and they're teaching it to them as babies. And I said, okay, can I ask you an intimate question? I said, we have an issue in our race. Among us, there is a lot of broken people and hurting people. And I said, how is it? Because this is not a white race. This is another minority group. So I'm like, how is it, or what is it that you guys are doing to produce the results that you are getting? And so he said, we educate. He said, so when you said read,
great equalizer.
you hit it on the nail. He said, we educate them from young. And all those kids were going to UVA, Georgia, top universities. They were having a pick. And he said, we educate them. When they come home, we ask them about their school. We get involved in their schooling. We are intentional about their schooling. Now, mind you, so many of us, many are in single parent homes, so they're working, some are carrying 2 jobs, and so they're so busy trying to deal with the physical needs and trying to survive that sometimes they don't have the energy and sometimes even the sight or the vision to focus on something that is down the road because they're taking care of the immediate needs. I get that. I've seen that. I grew up in that. So I get it. But one thing that my mom did, you always talk about me being the exception.
You were.
But one thing that my mom did not play when it came to education.
Correct.
She did not play. She would tear it all up. She would destroy everything to make sure that we were on point with our education. And she put a book in my hand in the hood. And she said, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. You can go wherever you want to go with this book. And as a result of that, I tell you, I went to school for free, undergrad and law school for free, because I believed her. And education was the great equalizer. And so that comes back to valuing who you are as not only a person individually, but then your people. Because once you value yourself, then you can value other people. It's hard for people to value the life of another person when they don't even value their
themselves.
own life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've heard young people say, I'm not going to live to be at the age of 19, and they prophesy their own murder.
Yeah.
They prophesy their own death, and it happens. And so we have to go back to valuing ourselves first. Physician, heal thyself. We got to do that. Once we learn how to value ourselves, we can then begin to value our community, value our village. I would lose a job if that's the case. Because then if you value yourself, you ain't not going to connect with a fool and end up in DV court. Or if you do connect to a fool because you value yourself, you're going to get up out of that relationship.
Yeah.
You're not going to stay there long. He may hit you once, but he have a whole bunch of opportunities to hit me. If you truly are valuing yourself and you're being taught that from young, you're going to be like, what am I doing? You're going to get to a point where you're going to be like that prodigal son. Why am I here?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to be out there shooting people and robbing people because you see something that they have that you desire. Instead of going to work for it, you said, I'm just going to take it off you because it's easier. Like I said, I grew up dirt poor, but I never once thought about robbing somebody. I never once thought about knocking somebody upside the head to get something that I want. I always knew I just had to work hard in order to get what I wanted to get. Now, I'm going to throw this last one up there, and this is going to surprise some people. There's been a lot of talk, we're going to get into a little politics, about what's going on with one particular locality about shopliftings. And they were saying that one common term was like, well, we shouldn't criminalize shoplifting, or we shouldn't at least prosecute shopliftings because you're prosecuting poor people and you're making poor people have to deal with this situation where all they're trying to do is survive. So all of these business people, they all own convenience stores. All of them, multiple convenience stores. And they said their number one issue is not people stealing a sandwich, stealing something to drink. They said their number one issue is people going out with 12 packs and cigarettes. And here's the thing. The insurance company will not reimburse them for that because it has to have a value of $500 or more. So they take a direct hit every time, and they get hit multiple times. They have people literally have a 12-pack and just walk out the store because they feel like it ain't going to be no consequence. Nobody's going to do a thing to me. Nobody's going to say a thing to me. So some of them have closed stores in certain neighborhoods because they said, I can't afford to do business in that neighborhood because I'm trying to just to make it. I'm trying to be able to support my family. And so now the community goes without because someone on a continual basis has hit them up enough where the value of staying there is outweighed by the loss that they're taking on a regular basis. And so it's like we have to value who we are, and we have to value one another. And if we value who we are and value one another, I'm going to lose my job.
He said, I want to work myself out of it.
But you know, man, I think education goes with exposure too. Because I think once you are educated, you see greater, right? And there's a lot of people, going back to the economics, who live in the hood, they didn't see beyond their block, man, right? Because you don't have people in your life that can show you what your mom did for you, even though y'all were in the hood, is that she showed you and exposed you to greater.
The book exposed me to greater.
But she exposed you to the book.
She exposed me to the book. That's the point. It's reading. She bought an encyclopedia.
The whole set probably.
I'm going old school on you.
Yeah, but Britannica.
Yeah, the Britannica and the World Book Encyclopedia. Yes. We had the World Book. She gave us a set of encyclopedia. I read. I was a voracious reader. I read.
And when you read, it exposed you to a level and a place that you didn't have.
That's my point. Education, that's my point.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just saying that she took that first step.
Yeah.
And if you have a mama that didn't,
that's
the trajectory is different.
You see the block. That's all you know.
But these kids got cell phones.
That don't mean that.
Wait a minute, y'all. Come on. No. They got cell phones, which means they have access to Google.
That don't mean that, huh?
No. If you don't have reading comprehension, you got access to the things that don't take reading comprehension in order to use.
But why don't they have reading comprehension?
That is a whole nother show.
No. It goes back to Alvin.
We don't have no more shows. This is it.
It goes back to what Alvin's saying about the parenting.
Yes,
exactly. My son had a speech delay and a developmental delay because of lack of oxygen when he was born. So as a result of that, it was harder for him to grab stuff, especially early on. So when he was in kindergarten and they were reading, he was just learning his ABCs because he came from a different school. So it was difficult for him. And as a result of that, he started playing. When stuff got difficult, he played. And you know they had the green, green, yellow, and red. So brother brought home a yellow. He brought home a yellow because he wanted to talk. And the teacher said he's talking during instruction time. So I have a conversation with him because I know what's going on. I said, don't bring home no more yellows. Brother brought home another yellow. And I said, look, I get what's going on, and we had a detailed conversation about the situation. I said, but I'm going to tell you right now, you bring home another yellow, it's going to be me and you because I can't hide this because this is your job. Parenting.
That's what we're saying.
Parenting, I know, but my point is, if it's a reading comprehension issue, my thing is, it didn't start in the 3rd and 4th and 5th grade. He was in kindergarten.
Correct.
He was showing these signs in kindergarten. But someone has to be looking at the child and talking to the child and trying to figure out what's going on and getting them the help. He had a tutor. Hello.
But Tom, what we're saying,
for the people that don't got too
right,
much
that's
money.
what I'm trying to say.
No. Now, public schools,
or the people that you just named,
public schools
who are
will
so
give you
busy
these
because of
things.
low wages that are a policy choice. They got 2 jobs in order just to get food on the table. Where is that tutoring time?
Hold on. Public schools would do tutoring. You have public schools that would do speech therapy for free, 100% free.
And who gets them there?
No, it's at the school. They go to the school.
No, but time, the way that a student gets signed up for something, it's not magic. It's
the
usually
parent has to sign them up.
Right.
So how about? Okay, so y'all gonna make me say something.
No, because Jason about to tell us that we gotta land a plane.
Well, I'm gonna land it right here. Y'all gonna make me say something.
Still hasn't even talked about his hope.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. You got time to open your legs and keep having all these kids? You got time to take your kid to go sign up and do something about that.
And while that may be true, it does not get the kid signed up.
No, you're right. But dysfunctionalism.
You're right.
You said
that's why I see him in court.
That's why I see him in court. And that's why I got a job. Because that's foolishness to me. You got time to have all these kids, but you ain't got time
to be a parent.
And I have an issue with that because all too often we want to allow the parents to get a get out of jail free card with excuses. And I'm like, there are a lot of parents who are doing the very best they can and they are struggling. But you and I both know there are a whole lot of parents out there that's just outright trifling.
Yeah.
And
reasons are not always excuses.
Reasons are not always excuses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Understood.
And I'm saying let's deal with the ones that's trifling. If you just deal with the one that's trifling, I'll still be out of the job.
But Tom, it's priorities. Let me say this: it's parental priorities. Because in the same vein, you'll have a parent that'll sign their kid up to play Little League football.
Yep, and be at every practice.
And they will be there.
To buy all the equipment.
Can't come to
be
a
at every practice.
Though.
Try to tell the coach what to do. But won't meet with their teacher.
Yep.
Won't go to the school to meet with the principal. Won't do anything to address the issues in school, but they'll be at everything.
And 9 times out of 10, they are probably hiding from their own issue. And Alvian has said that her hope for them is to deal with your own stuff.
Yes, you got to deal with your stuff. But this is the generational stuff that we're talking about.
And until they get in trouble, and you got to come down to the school, and then you're ready to cuss the teacher out and cuss the principal out.
That's what happens.
It's all connected.
Yep.
That's all connected. So it's limited education, which then limited exposure.
I couldn't be no teacher, y'all.
Which then keeps you.
I won't be no teacher. You cuss me out, you gonna get cussed back out.
External forces
and then I'm gonna ask the Lord to forgive me. You just
that don't want you to succeed.
And I don't cuss, but you gonna get that one. You gonna earn that one.
You put it all together.
You gonna earn that cussing.
Yeah.
You gonna get that one. You gonna get all that.
Pause right here, Jay. What I think you should do, because you got to say something about schools, and I'm gonna say something about the church, and then I know we're over time, but you can edit it down to get it to.
And you can put some of this in the best, in the highlight show.
But this is the last show, so he one time I went over 10 minutes and he said that.
Okay, so then.
So we let it rock.
All right, cool.
Give me 2 claps.
Give you 2 claps.
Yeah,
All right. So,
I needed that. I don't know. I needed that somehow. All
right, Ty. So yeah, listen, man. It's dysfunctionalism. It's lack of opportunities. It's not parenting exposing their kids to the right things. It's putting all their eggs in the stuff because you think their kid gonna go pro,
right?
And they ain't got no talent,
right?
But
it's the low wages.
But you don't understand that they can get a scholarship
it's all of that.
academically too.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say the kid ain't got no talent.
Ain't got no talent.
I ain't gonna talk about the babies like that and say they got no talent.
Children.
Listen, even if you do have talent, the reality is less than 1%.
Yes,
go
absolutely.
That's true.
All right, so that means 99% ain't gonna make it.
That's true.
I mean, it's just so harsh the way he said it.
Your child sucks in that.
No, wait.
It's just so harsh the way he said. You know,
No,
that was
it is.
That was
a Tonism.
Is it true? Wait a minute.
Are we about to pretend like time ain't hard on the kids?
I'm just real. I just keep it real.
So keeping it real means
I just keep it real.
keeping it real means your kid ain't good enough.
Period.
Go read a book.
Go read a book.
Go read a book.
No, go read a book.
Your kid ain't good enough.
What I said. Go read a book.
I agree with that.
Because you can
Now
excel
you
at that
spending
any
$600 a week going to AAU tournaments. Your child ain't playing.
That much?
Easy.
That stuff is expensive.
Oh, I didn't
But
know.
hold on, can I ask a question?
Easy.
Tell me this. You're in athletics and everything. How do they afford that then?
They don't. They ain't paying. That's why there's an unrealistic expectation for your kid when you play in AAU. Because I got to travel to the game. I got to pay gas to get there.
So who pays for
I got to pay for the hotel. The parent does. And then I got to pay to get in the venue to watch my child play. And then if they don't play,
I'm looking.
They're on the bench.
I'm looking at Sia. She know why I'm looking at her. I'm looking at Sia, y'all.
Because you play with everybody.
No way.
Because you gonna want to know why am I spending all this money for my child not to play? That's why. That's why AAU's a joke. But then you got the same mentality for Little League. So on Saturdays at Gosnell Hope Park,
It's packed. It's packed. I live near there. It's packed.
Right?
I didn't know that was AAU.
No, that's Little League football.
That's just Little League football.
Now AAU basketball is what I described earlier.
Okay.
And that starts in March. It goes all the way to June, July. Every weekend you could travel somewhere and play.
And you paying that kind of money.
But wait, before we get into the judgment of it all,
she know where I'm going. I'm just looking at her. I ain't saying nothing.
I don't want to get to the point of judging people's choices if they can afford it, right? Let's just say
most of these parents can't afford it.
But hold on, well, I don't know that because I'm not in it. But see, my point is, whoever's paying for it, whoever, right? There are benefits to having children in sports.
I got no problem
All
with that.
I'm saying is, if you find that your child is grade A at sports but cannot read to comprehend,
it's trifling. Trifling.
I was going to say problematic. I was going to say problematic.
I'm retired on that.
But look, but here's the thing.
Break down the word.
The Bible says the fool and his money shall be separated.
Come
okay,
on,
like,
the fool and his money.
Please educate these babies.
Because I
he just lost
them.
what, 1.2 million, 1.3 million because he's sleeping with some stripper, got her pregnant, and said, I want nothing else to do with her.
So
The
let's
fool
bring it
and
back
his
to the
money will be
6-year-olds before we get to
I'm
the
just saying,
strippers.
the fool and his
That
money
ain't the
will
first
sue.
child either.
That
Go
ain't
ahead.
But
the
before
first
the
child.
strippers,
Okay.
books are free. Books are free.
Yes,
so
they
whether you spend all that money or not, I'm not gonna offer judgment on what you're doing with your money because I don't know what it's like to raise. Like I have a part in raising a wonderfully amazing 12-year-old right now. My eyes have been open to some of the stuff y'all been talking about. I'm only 2 years in, so it's new. Mm-hmm. But what I do know is that while we are trying to see what these hobbies are, while we're trying to see what the passion and the interests are, there's a baseline. You gonna read because no matter
But that's what we're saying.
No, I get it. But I just wanted to ease up on the judgment of
There's
the
no
spending.
judgment.
No, that sounded
No,
judging.
there is some
fact.
That's some judgment.
That
There is some judgment. I ain't gonna say that.
Fact.
I
It's
judge.
fact.
That was
He said,
But I do judge.
No, but it's not. It's not.
Yep.
But it doesn't. Well, all I'm saying is, it doesn't have to automatically be a choice. You can do both.
You will do both.
Right.
That needs to be.
But you're not gonna be a quarterback. You're not gonna be much of nothing if your baby can't read. Because there's playbooks.
Listen.
There's contracts. There's none of this is successful if your baby cannot read to comprehend.
But if I see you as my way out,
Which goes back to get your stuff
which
in the
a lot
therapist.
of people see their kid as
That
the
is
way out.
tragic.
Then I'm going to allow you to do whatever you
Let me
need to
drop
do.
this mic on you.
That's
Listen, I'm not saying I'm
tragic.
I
No, of course not.
but that's the mentality.
No,
we
of
know,
course
we
not.
with
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Know, we with you.
We
I
know your kids.
You playing radio.
They can
You playing
read.
Listen,
radio.
'cause my
and you
kids-
understand.
They can
They can read. I know
They
they can
gonna
read.
read.
And play sports.
But
Right,
let me
and
drop this mic
comprehend.
on you. The very fact that your child is your retirement plan says how trifling you are.
Facts.
Crazy.
Because you should not be
Facts.
relying on your kid
Crazy.
to be your retirement plan.
That's
If
a whole nother
anything,
level of trauma
I want to
for
set
children.
my child up to be better than
Exactly.
me. And be
Every
able to
generation
soar
should be
without
better than the
having to
generation
worry
before.
about me.
100%.
How you gonna do that when I didn't see it myself?
Yeah.
That's
That's
never
the
too late,
generational
though.
curse, man.
But it's
is.
never too late.
If I lived in the hood because my parents put me there and I don't know any
But
better,
maybe
But it's
that's the
never
good part.
too late.
But maybe that's the good part for us to talk about education.
That goes to Jay.
Is that
But see, y'all, it's never too late. If that was the case, Kev, that would have been my mom.
But no, but
You're
you're
never too
forgetting.
late.
You are
are-
forgetting that your mother was the intercessory
Yes.
step for your trajectory
She changed
to
your
become
life.
better.
Yes.
So when did your mama?
She was
step in-
20.
So, okay, you are blessed. You are blessed.
I mean,
And when you
do
say
have
it's
to
never
understand
too
that
late,
you're the aberration.
You
are
are.
not
You're the
you are not
and you
asterisk,
say
man.
it's never too late,
are
you
not the
have to
rule, though.
understand that a moving force does not change its trajectory without intervention.
and another way to say that,
Can I tell you what the intervention
Hold
was?
on.
It was Christ.
Amen.
another way to
and,
say
then,
that.
and then we can come back to the church.
It was church.
Well, I'm addressing the church.
I'm coming to you right there. I'm giving to you.
Nah,
Well,
I'm
we
gonna
got
let Jay.
education too.
But
Okay.
I'm gonna say this.
Education and then the
We
church.
know
Right.
research shows that most people who are born in a certain socioeconomic status tends to stay there.
Yes.
That's generational.
And they are banking on that with some of the laws that they're
That's
coming up
Yes.
with.
generational.
Yes.
Because people don't know how to come out of that.
So what we gonna do about it?
That's what we going on
Okay,
the road.
Jason.
So what we gonna do about it?
We going on the road. That's what
Jason,
we gonna
Talk
do.
about it.
You gonna teach the babies?
Education, man. What one thing do you want, man, for the future, man, beyond this show do you see for education? Parents, kids, what you want? You in there?
I want parents to be parents. I want parents to stop being friends. I want parents to start coming back to the PTA meetings like they go out and stand out for the lottery tickets, not just
Or
for
buying Air Jordans?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the lottery for the Air Jordans. And to see kids do what's right, you know, 'cause that is the issue that I see. Kids will just do whatever they want to do because there's no consequences. Because, again, going back to Sia, her arena, legislation has changed. We can't suspend kids because it affects our attendance. So our kids can get up and just walk out of class because they know they're not going to get suspended. They can slap people because they know they're not getting sent home. Because you can't, schools don't want to lose their accreditation. So for me, I would love to see parents come back and start parenting and come alongside the teachers and
Right.
the
That
principals.
part.
That part.
Because
That part.
when I have a conversation with, I had a conversation with a parent and I said, hey, your child was running around, they were on the sink, they were jumping off. They said, they looked at the child and said, well, you did a really good job today because you didn't hurt anybody. I said, that's the bar. The bar is that you didn't hurt anybody. We're not going to address the fact that this little joker ran all around the classroom, ran on top of the sink, literally, and jumped off. The thing was, he didn't hurt anybody. So to see parents allow their kids to do any and everything, and to like you got, and then the fear that the kids don't have anymore. I'm walking down the hallway and the kids are cussing, and I'm sitting. I'm like, dude, I'm right here. And like you had the kid one time, and I picked Tom's spirit up for this one. I said, I'm gonna get arrested today. The little boy walked up on me and told me F me and say, what's good? I took my hat and my glasses off. I said, well, let him go. Let him come see me. He said, Mr. Covert, you can't do that. I said, I can and I will because I love what I do, but I don't need this job. I could find another job.
But you need your freedom, honey.
Right.
Yeah,
You don't need you locked up.
I want to prosecute.
But no,
So get it on video.
no, but the point that I'm making
He
is
said, "Go and sin no
Go
more."
and sin no more, bro. I understand.
when I was
understand.
11 and 12 years old,
Oh, yeah.
there was no way I was bucking up an adult.
No.
There was no
Oh,
way.
absolutely
like
not.
when you did things when I was coming up, you got suspended for 10 days, and when you came back, you were a different kid. You didn't get suspended anymore. Now they get sent home because they want to go home. You got kids arguing with. I had one kid arguing. I said, "Look, I ain't your mama and your daddy. You could tell you again. I felt Tom Spirit. I said you could tell your mama and your daddy come back up here and see me.
Oh my God!
Because that's you. That's you. You talk about
confront the issue.
Yeah. And listen, Jay, I'm with you.
Keep it real.
My daddy told me when I was in 2nd grade. He said, "The one thing I gave you was my last name. And the one thing you're not gonna do is mess my name up."
Did he tear you up while he was telling you that?
Me up.
Good, Daddy. Good. Good.
Don't know that corporal punishment is the bar either.
Because again,
No, that corporal punishment is the bar either.
But see, what Jason is saying is the issue.
I do.
The issue is
tattoo your name on that tail.
parents and the schools are no longer aligned.
That's true.
The parent is aligned with the child.
Yes.
And so when a parent calls home, the parent is defending the child instead of saying, you know what, you right, because I see that same behavior at home, and we're going to work together.
They lie about that, though. They say their child don't ever act like that at home.
Saying.
And that blows me.
Should be.
Because when I used to get calls by my kids, I'd tell the teacher, you know what, you absolutely right.
You did it. You did it.
Because I see it. I see it here.
Come on.
You ain't lying.
Come on.
We're going to work on this together.
Because you know your kid.
You know your kid.
You know your kid. COVID revealed a whole lot of stuff.
Oh,
Them
that's
parents
why
were like,
the parents wanted to open those schools.
It has not gotten back.
Come
it
on.
has not gotten back. We are. Oof.
And let me say this about your daddy lighting you up. I want to call him right now and say, you need to light him up again. Get him again, Daddy Swan. I know you watching. Get him again. No. He is messing up your name. Get him again. That's what you need to do. I will get the belt for you.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh.
The level of lies on this show that ended. So I'm gonna talk about the church because we almost done. We gotta talk about the church.
Turn around for this one.
Yep.
Come on.
Ain't no purple veil.
Ain't no purple veil today.
Yeah.
Tell it.
And I have had to listen
Yes.
to y'all call the church the actual truth.
Oh.
We have had hoes in
Hold
the
on, we have to stop the show. This is the first time
I
in
gotta-
27 years this
That's
man has
27.
told the
I want
truth.
to put on my light.
No, and you know what? You know what? I this is why. You know, it was hurtful.
Because he always
Don't
lied.
scare him. Don't scare him.
He having a moment. He having a moment. Y'all let him have it.
This is my moment of truth.
Yes.
It's been hurtful to hear those comments from y'all, but they're true. And that's what breaks my heart for the church, is that the church should be the only space where all the hate and the drama and the issues, there's one place you can find in the world that can accept you for who you are, that will love you unconditionally, that will walk you through. But yet we have predators in our churches.
Yes.
We have people who are power hungry in our churches. We have people who are not really interested in morality and standing for what is right. And now the church has become a mockery. And so my hope for the church is that the church can get back to being what it used to be. Y'all know in our community, the church led every major civil rights movement, except the last one, which was Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
The church led it. We've lost that. We've lost that, and that breaks my heart. And the reason why I was defending for so many years is because I like to believe that there are, just like every other profession, there are some good people in this that's doing it. Right?
You're one of them.
Yeah,
You're one of them.
But
sometimes.
He said, when you're not a terrible person.
But I think
You're not a terrible pastor. You've never been a
No,
terrible
but
pastor. That is a fact. That person.
But I think y'all can appreciate what I'm about to say. Sometimes you get tired of defending people that are your colleagues.
Yes. Yes.
Because people are coming to you for questions that ain't got nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
Yes.
So now they begin to look
how do
at
you justify other people's behavior?
Correct. Now they're looking at you suspiciously because they think you might be doing the same thing. And that's been the struggle. So I'm going to end the show with apologizing to y'all.
I don't even know what to do.
I'm going to end the show
I don't know how to take that.
with apologizing for fighting.
You going to apologize to me too?
Never. Y'all been Al and Sia and Jay. That was
Jay. You see that?
Todd to the end, to the wheels fall off.
the wheels fall
I ain't got nothing to say to you no more.
can't believe that. You had a moment. It was a beautiful moment, too.
And you trashed.
Beautiful.
Because you asked me to apologize to you.
I need you to apologize to me.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
All the times you called holes in the pool, it broke my heart.
Okay, I ain't lying, though.
You told the truth.
I had facts. I had receipts.
You did.
But you also had love.
I did. Can I tell you why I had
out of
love?
love.
I had love because I'm a part of the church.
Right.
That's right.
So the
Same.
truth of the matter is, you think I loved and enjoyed that? No, because I'm talking about me. I'm talking about my own church.
Yeah.
That's me.
And I think if we were having conversations
To be clear,
about
he wasn't
lawyers,
living like that, though.
Right.
if we had conversations about
Very clear.
I said, to be clear, audience, he wasn't saying that he was living like the hose in the pool.
Oh,
Right.
no,
When you
no,
say
no,
that's me,
No,
I said,
I'm talking about me as the church.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to put the asterisk
Yes.
right
I
there for
appreciate those
clarification.
caveats, y'all.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Help him out.
Thank you.
because you ain't got time to correct this one.
No, I ain't got time to correct this one. Yeah.
But I think y'all understand if you keep seeing shady politicians,
Yeah.
shady people in the
Yep.
business world,
Yeah.
shady
I'm
lawyers.
just going to say they shady.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it's
but you know
hard.
people start looking at you that way.
I don't care. I still call them shady.
Yes,
And I
you
call
know
them
that.
shady to their face.
But that's what. Can you let him get?
Can I have my own? I'll let you speak on alone. Flamethrower.
This is
You're
a
right.
moment
But
that
you know
people
what?
deserve.
And one of the things I have to recognize, everybody does not respond to conflict the same.
Right.
Everybody is not going to be in your face with that. I do realize that is something that was instilled in me. And so when I don't see others do the same, sometimes I feel like they're taking a punk move or they're not being as courageous. And it's like, no, God created us different
All
ways.
different ways.
And you can do certain things differently and get the same results. So I get that. I really do get that. So I applaud you.
I do think he just called you a punk, though. But
No,
I just
I
wanted-
did not.
He says
I
a
did-
punk move.
Yeah, he
I
He did
did
say
not.
that, sis.
No, I am saying.
Now y'all see what I'm saying. See what I'm saying? He called me intellectually talented, and now he called you a punk. Let the record reflect.
That was, I was playing. I was playing. I did that one back. I did
Nah,
that
man,
one. I'm
look.
sorry.
No, I was saying because God had to tell me. He said you got too much blood on your hands.
Yep.
You have done battles and you have fought battles that were not yours to fight.
Yeah.
And so there's a balance.
Yeah,
And
it is.
strategic moves for the different realities
Understand
that we have.
there are multiple tools,
Right.
And you cannot perform a surgery with a hammer.
Nope.
Sometimes you need a scalpel.
I do have a question for him though.
Okay.
Since you being honest and you call
You got 2 minutes, man. We got to end the show. You better hurry up.
So how do you individually as a pastor who do walk in integrity, how do you lead others to that place of integrity where the church can now regain its credibility in the community again?
Inside the church, outside.
Both.
So inside the church, I think because of my walk, I can challenge people
Yep.
Okay.
to be.
You got receipts.
Because you're looking at me as one who's
And I'm
done
living it.
Yeah.
So when you say you challenge, are you challenge them verbally or just challenged by your behavior and your walk?
So in our discipleship with the men,
Okay.
I challenge them in private, never in public.
Okay.
I don't want to embarrass them in public.
And that's good.
But in private, you can be a better husband. You can be a better father. You can be a better man.
And here's some resources and tools.
Correct.
Resources and tools.
And
Publicly,
here's a model.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak to my family. My greatest sermon is never one that I preached.
It's the life that
My
you
greatest
live.
sermon is I've been faithful to my wife for 28
No,
years.
that's right.
You can do this.
Right.
Amen.
Right? And so that's what I hang my hat on, man.
Yeah.
And for
Yes.
me, if you're going to be in this, because there's a moral, there's a spiritual responsibility that goes beyond just preaching. To me, that is missing. And I think so many people go to church with the right intentions and not getting what they need because the leader is not where they need to be.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean the leader's perfect. No leader is perfect.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
But you got to
Well,
at
none of
least
us
be
are.
able to look at the leader and say, you know what, at least there's somebody I can look at in my life and say, you know what, I at least aspire to try to walk like that.
That's good.
That's my hope.
That's good.
That's
I'm
beautiful.
proud
That
of
was
you.
very
That
good.
is- yeah, that is beautiful. That really is beautiful.
He chat GPT that boy. Right. That is chat GPT.
Now we were all on one accord.
No, but I will
back.
say
All on one
this
accord.
because of your walk that has led to us being around this table. Like, it was your invitation that got this table together. I just say thank you for even, when I first started, it was every now and then. And then it was like, okay, a few more times. And it was like, oh, I'm part of the, I'm in the picture. Like, you built this. And I'm so thankful that for the invitations that even have been a part of it throughout, and just the doors that it has opened, but also what I have learned from you, watching you as a pastor, watching you as, you navigate outside of church spaces and things. And I'm very thankful for your counsel, your friendship, but just your walk. Like just watching how you handle things has been very instructional. And just, you live the word, and it's a beautiful thing to behold.
She said, when you're not being terrible.
It is a beautiful thing to behold when you are not being a terrible. You will not let me have my moment with
that. Absolutely not.
You will not let me. See, I love you. See, I love you. I appreciate you. Listen, y'all, we are out of time. We got to run. It's been an absolute joy over these years to laugh with you, to pray with you all, and to do this show.
Okay, but you have to tell them, Kevin.
I always want to give you a hug.
These two. Listen, y'all. Like Kevin said early on, it's an evolution for us. So know that we will not just go dark on you. Right. There may be some surprise pop-up moments. There may be mini shows that could come out. Just keep following us. There just may be some inspirational quotes that pop up here and there. You just don't know what it is that God has in store. What we're speaking to is that we're evolving from this space.
That's right.
In this way,
but we are not saying that it is a goodbye.
Right.
It is a looking forward to meeting you at the next level.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
And on that note, we got to run. It's been a joy, y'all. Until next time, wherever we may see you, be blessed and be a blessing to someone else. Peace. What's up, Crew Radio Show family? I want to take a moment to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the years of support that you all have listened, watched our podcast, and even come up to us in the community to express your appreciations about our show. All we've wanted to do was to make the show relevant, impactful, funny, and then also have at the end of the show, you be able to have some conversation beyond what we discussed that day. And I think we've accomplished that. We're setting our sights on doing something different, but before we go into the next chapter, I just want to say some special thanks to some people over the years that have really made the show happen and made it what it is today. This whole concept of our radio show started back in 2004, 2005, when I was still an associate pastor at 6 Mount Zion Baptist Temple. It was there that my senior pastor, Dr. Jerome Barber, who was already in radio, our church had purchased a radio station, WTJZ AM 1270. He would do the morning broadcast every morning at 6 a.m. And during that time, he began to bring me in to kind of show me how to do radio. And I am forever grateful because I didn't have any previous radio experience prior to that. And then also Dr. Barber, being an alumnus of Hampton University, he also had some connections and did some work on the radio station at Hampton University. And it was there that I met the station manager at that time, who was Rob Dixon. And Rob Dixon and I became very close because he also was a member of 6 Mount Zion. And together we used to teach Vacation Bible School. And we used to teach the young kids in our class, and we had a ball doing it. And so we had this idea and this thought, well, since you have the radio station and we're doing this and working with kids, why not create a radio show that would be fun and entertaining? And so that's what we decided to do way back in 2006. We created something called Young, Saved, and Proud. And in that radio show format, I was the one who represented kind of the leadership of the church, and he represented the average member of the church. And we would go back and forth and have a good time doing it. Well, Rob moved on. And prior to him moving on to bigger and better things from the station, I had pitched Rob with the idea, hey, it would be great if we can invite other pastors in and have some real discussion, what really goes on in churches, what really pastors are thinking and feeling, and what they experience that people don't even know. And so Rob said, good, that's a good idea. And so from Young, Saved, and Proud, we then moved into the Pastor's Study. And the Pastor's Study was operated on Tuesdays at 12 noon and became a very, very popular show. We were on Sundays also after church, so people could, right after church service, come and listen to our show. And again, we're talking about relevant issues. So these are the people that I need to thank, Rob Dixon and Pastor Barber. And then after Rob left, Jay Lang became the station manager of WHOV, and he could have very easily have said, no, we don't want to keep the show, but he kept the show, and the show continued to flourish. And I'm forever grateful to Jay Lang that we can continue to do the show. And so you have Pastor John Young, you have Bishop Ray Johnson, you have Dr. Akeem Walker, you have so many others, Pastor Corey Brown, who at one point came on the show. Lots of us over the years who have come and gone, and then our last and great iteration of the show, Alvian Lyons, Dr. Alvian Lyons. You have Commonwealth Attorney Anton Bell, Delegate Marcia Price, and the one who had been working behind the scenes to keep all of this together over the years is our very own Jason Covington. And so we took that group and we changed the idea of the Pastor's Study because there wasn't as many pastors on the show anymore. And we widened the format out and we became the crew. And we still are the crew. We love each other today off air as much as you have seen us do it on the air. And so people may say, well, why are you breaking up? Well, seasons evolve, life changes, and we're looking at different ways that we can still be impactful, still be relevant, but in a different way. I know for me, I like the live engagement of an audience, and I think our co-hosts do as well. And so that's some of the stuff that we're going to get back to doing, getting back out into the community, having live community forums where you can actually come and sit with us, and we can actually talk to you in real time, and we leave with something that we all can collectively do to make our communities better. That's the goal now for us moving forward. So stay tuned. You'll be hearing some exciting news about what's next. We already have some things lined up. And when we make these announcements, we want y'all to show up in great number. And we'll be live in front of you, and you can talk to us and we can talk to you, and we're going to have a great time. So this is not goodbye. This is see you soon, because the crew is still going to be operating, but in a different way. So on behalf of all of us, we want to say thank you so much for supporting us over the years. Thank you for your love. We deeply love you back, and we look forward to seeing you in a venue in person sometime soon. God bless.
Yo, what's up? This is your boy Jay Cub. Who would have thunk it? That sooner than later is right now. Pastor Swan alluded to it, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek. On July 13th, the Crew Radio Show will be with the Commonwealth Attorney Office as they present Courageous Conversations with the Commonwealth, featuring the crew. And guess what? We coming back, y'all, barbershop style. On July 13th at 2 p.m. at Buckrow Beach. You need to be there. It's free and it's open to the public. Now, you want to know when is the whole crew coming back together? Guess what? I got you. On September 16th, the entire crew, we will be back together live at our home by the sea, Hampton University, again with the Commonwealth Attorney Office presenting Courageous Conversations featuring the Crew Radio Show. Last but certainly not least, for years we were known as the Pastor's Study. Then we evolved, and now we are the Crew Radio Show. Well, listen, on August 1st, the Pastor's Study's Facebook page will be deactivated. However, we have a new page up. It's the Crew Radio Show on Facebook and on Instagram at the Crew Radio Show. Do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe. You already know we on YouTube. Same thing, the Crew Radio Show. Let me give you those 2 dates one more time. On July 13th at 2 o'clock, Courageous Conversations with the Commonwealth featuring the Crew Radio Show, barbershop style. And on September 16th at our home by the sea, Hampton University, the Student Ballroom, 7 p.m. The doors are open up at 6:30. You need to come on out there and meet us as the whole crew will be here for that one, all right? July 13th with the Crew Radio Show, the Barbershop Style, the Commonwealth Attorney, and on September 16th, another courageous conversation with the Commonwealth featuring the entire crew. We can't wait to see you. Until then, have a good one.